So we had The Strangers, right? The Strangers came out, and man, I was looking forward to this movie, dude. I really, really thought they were going to have a home run on their hands, and I thought we were going to love this trilogy. And some people do. I'm not gonna, I get comments all the time on my review, on my letterbox. You're too harsh on this movie. Oh, you're being an a-hole. Let's see you make a better movie. All valid points, man. If you liked it, you liked it. To me, right now, it's one of my biggest disappointments of 2024. The movie just let me down. It was so cliche, so uninteresting. And I thought they didn't make the strangers scary. And for a rated R movie, you barely had anything in there. But I was like, all right, fine. I know you have Strangers 2 and 3. Those movies now, a lot of pressure is riding, especially that second one, for me to be interested in again. And actually got our first look at The Strangers Chapter 2. So, not anything huge or giant, but here we have it. It's Madeline Pesh on our first look at The Strangers Chapter 2. So, this is our first look at what the movie's going to be like. To me, this looks like this happens immediately after the events of the first movie, right? Because she's bloodied up, she got stabbed, she's left on the floor, and we hear ambulance and police coming, and then the post-credit scene is her in the hospital with a stranger, the sack guy, there in bed with her, and that's where it ends, kind of implying the sequel is going to take place within the hospital. And I'm like, a hospital, like, that's such a cliche way to go. That's literally like pulled out of the book from Halloween 2 with Michael Myers, having the sequel take place in a hospital. But whatever, maybe they can make it work. Even Strangers Pray at Night had that be the tease for the end of their movie. They're in the hospital also, and the stranger shows up and the movie ends. I'm like, okay, I want to be excited, dude. This better be the movie that like brings it home, makes it interesting. It's so obvious where I think they're going with this, because again, I'm going to talk a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 1 yet. They are making it so obvious what the motivation is for the strangers. So, in the beginning of the movie, excuse me, the couple, they stop at this like small town, and they're having dinner at a place. And there's actors there, like actors. Well, there's people there, like the waitress, the police officer, the sheriff of the town, all this kind of stuff. And they're just being so rude to the couple for no reason and judging them for their lifestyle, where like they're not married, but they've been together for so long. And every time they talk to somebody in this town, they're constantly handing them a pamphlet for the church. So that's what the motive is going to be. It's so obvious, one, that the waitress that like drove them to the cabin and all that, she's going to be revealed to be one of the strangers under the masks. That's obvious. Same thing with like the guy in the sack. It's going to be one of like the sheriff officers or people. And the motivation of this all is looking to be they're just part of a religious cult. They're just like they hate city people because they flance around their money, and they're having unprotected sex and not getting married. Shame on you people. I'm like, that is going to be the lamest reveal of all time, because other than that, they haven't set up what's going to be going down in this movie, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So I want to look forward to this film. I want it to be great. That trailer better be good. And you know, the part that sucks, yeah, see, like the cult is so generic. I agree. Like, I know people, like, if you, like, okay, Chris, you say a cult is generic, but like when it comes to Scream, you're always begging for a Ghostface cult. That to me feels slightly different because there's a different, how do I say it, approach to that. That cult can explain so many things about why there's always multiple ghost faces, multiple people out there, and even the motivation of the cult itself could be interesting. Is it a group of movie fans? Is it a group of people obsessed with Sydney? Like, there's so many angles a cult of Ghostface could actually be interesting. A cult where they're just super religious, so they want to kill sinners, dude, there are like hundreds of movies like that, and heck, even documentaries where that really happens. It's just not that interesting. It feels kind of lame to me, and it's also so hypocritical because like, how could you be the one wanting to get rid of the sinners by being the sinner? You know what I mean? Hopefully, they come out with something more interesting. But the part that also sucks is they can't change anything. They already filmed part 2 and part 3. They can't take any fan feedback and change it up. Maybe if they want to. You know, the other kind of crazy, sad part about this, it's making money, y'all. Strangers, Chapter 1, box office, it already tripled its money. The movie right now has made, let's see, $35 million worldwide. The budget of the first movie was $8 million. $8 million. And so, like, what, 8 times 3 is what, 32, 34? They already tripled their money. I think the whole trilogy together probably cost $30 million. I think the whole trilogy, probably each movie was like somewhere between 10 to 8 million. Whole trilogy to film those movies, 30 million. They already made their money back plus more on the first film. I think they're maybe still going to release them in theaters just because of this outcome. But I wouldn't mind if they end up on Netflix. You know what I mean? So we'll see. This is still our first look at The Strangers Chapter 1. I'm still going to give the movie the benefit of the doubt. But I'm telling you right now, I walk away not liking this movie. I don't see how I'll even want to talk about chapter 3 unless it's just like has something crazy like the strangers in space. Then that's like, all right, you got me back in here. So we'll see. But this is your first look at the Strangers chapter 2. Hopefully it's good. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's move on now. Talking about some Godzilla X Kong. So